Can you even get a good gaming mouse in $15, and can it even be good? So introducing to you Attackshark X5. Today's review unit was sent to me by Gadget Nova. Gadget Nova has been one of the current most active PC peripherals importer, with being the importers of Attackshark, Jinmeng and some few other popular brands also with their amazing products. You can find today's Attackshark X5 from them for only 700 BDT. And now onto the video. Attackshark has been in the mouse game for quite a while now with their budget mouse lineup, especially with the X3 being one of the most popular one, and now they have aimed for the lower end of the budget lineup with their Attackshark X5. So without any more delay, let's hop into our today's review, starting with a quick unboxing of it. The unboxing was as what you would expect for a $15 mice, if not better. Opening the box, at first we get a white Type-C to a cable which is non-braided. Then we get a user manual of the mouse with all the necessary infos in it. And lastly, we get our beautiful mouse wrapped in a plastic wrap. And that's all to the unboxing of it. Now let's talk about the shape of the mouse. As per the specs, the mouse is right around 125 by 67 by 40mm in dimension, but in my measurement it was around 120 by 63 by 40mm, and I feel like my one is more accurate and it does fit decently for a medium to big hand like mine. And if we inspect the mouse closer, the mouse is a symmetrical one with no inclination on any side while looking at it from the front side. The middle hump of this is as much as the GPX with 1mm less, which makes it have a great fit in the palm of the hand. And for the back hump is also in a curved shape and has a slow inclination on the slope. It also almost gives feel of the X-shaped mouse, but with the back part being more rounder and covers the entire palm while giving it a proper place to sit on. And if we go into the yellow shape, let us compare it with the Logitech G102 and GPX Superlight. Since there is no info of Attackshark X5 on yellow shape, so I have to compare the shapes kind of blindly. The G102 has narrower middle side compared to X5, and X5 is narrower than the GPX by about 5mm, and the width of the X5 is taller than the G102 and identical as the GPX, and the hump is smaller than 102 and similar to GPX, and this makes the mouse pretty comfortable in hand. Now about the build quality and the feel of the mouse. Starting with the build quality, I didn't had much expectations to this mouse compared to the price, and I was right. While holding the mouse, the first time you can feel that the plastic is premium and has a cheap feel to it. Then again, this is what I could expect for the price. Also, while shaking or wiggling the mouse, the plastic of the front clicks, vibrates and creates a faint sound, and while squeezing the mouse on the both sides, the shell of the clicks gets separated from the body, but it can easily be put back just pushing it backwards, and realistically no one is gonna push it this hard. But the rest of the build of this mouse is pretty sturdy again. And for the feel of the mouse, it has a matte finish coated on the surface, and being a white mouse, it can be a dirt magnet. And because of the matte finish, gripping the mouse is pretty easy and stays comfortable on the hand even after long sessions of gaming, and having a sweaty hand is also not a problem. And the closer to GPX style shape makes the mouse pretty comfortable over long gaming sessions and hardly made my hand strain. Also, the shape of this mouse lets it to be gripped comfortably in fingertip or palm grip, but I didn't feel that much comfort while claw gripping it. The weight distribution of this mouse is the most favorite part of this mouse for me. This is a 49-gram mouse on paper, but while measuring it, it's a 54-gram mouse, which is still quite light and comfortable to use on, and the weight distribution is pretty spread out perfectly of the mouse. Neither the mouse is front or back heavy, and nor it was heavy on either of its side. Hence, this makes it a perfect mouse in terms of weight distribution. Now looking at the internals, the sensor it comes with is Pixar 3212 sensor, which is a lower tier sensor, and we're gonna talk about it later on the performance part. On the back, we have a mode changing switch which switches between trimodes, a DPI button to change the DPI from 125 to 4000 DPI. Also, the feeds we see here are the cheap TFE feet with 1mm thickness, and it has a decent glide but not the best. The glide test I am showing here is by EasyPad hybrid surface one, and you can see how smoothly it glides. Now speaking of the switches it comes advertised in says it has 10 million click lifetime switch, but as I mentioned before, squeezing the mouse hard enough lets the front shell lift off, also lets me have a look inside. The switch we see here are the Huano green dot switch, and a quick Google search reveals that it's a 5 million click lifetime switch, but it's still a good switch, and Huano has less failure than the Omron counterpart, so it's more reliable honestly. And we can also see the encoder here, which is unnamed, but judging by the engraving, it's a F-switch encoder, and it's also a decent encoder with slight tactility is what I found while searching it on the internet. Now for the performance of this mouse. As I mentioned before, the mouse comes in a Pixar 3212 sensor, which is a very budget sensor with 125Hz on wireless and 300Hz on wired, which I tested online and it came true. There was no mention of the MCU of this mouse. So how does Pixar 3212 perform? This is a mouse with 300 IPS and 10G acceleration, and if we talk about the wired performance, it did perform flawlessly and I hadn't found any issue with it. I played Valorant with this mouse for the past 3 days and there was zero issue on the wired mode, and the mouse behaved just like a 1 kHz mouse with slight spinouts and very slightly slower responses. Overall, I felt that this mouse is quite decent for casual competitive games, but for the wireless, it comes with some issues. Connecting the mouse wirelessly takes about 10 seconds to connect to the PC. Then in casual works, there was minimal connectivity issue with slight stutters but ignorable, but in game it seemed to stop responding. This went pretty annoying, which made me place my verdict that for gaming it should be played on the wired mode, and for wireless it should be used for casual work purposes. So time for the verdict. Before that, there is no software support for this mouse, which is a bummer, and it's a plug and play mouse. And now, if this mouse is worthy or not. Honestly, I did pretty well dissected review today and I mentioned all the pros and cons of this mouse. The sensor of this mouse might be inferior, but on wired mode, this did feel like a pretty decent mouse, but for the wireless, I should say, use it for casual works, not for gaming. But the build, switch and scroll wheel is decent for the price it comes with, and nitpicking it is worthless. So should you buy this or not? In my opinion, this is recommendable if you are in desperate need for a wireless under $20, but the wired mode is as good as some mouse with the $20 range. So depending on your budget, I would recommend to grab it if you are stuck with $15 on hand as a limited earner. Hope you guys liked the video. Thank you for watching and please do like and subscribe to support me in the future. Thank you.